I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
Changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the
My cam already froze? Are you fucking serious? I literally just started. I haven't even started. Come on, dude. Come on, $200 webcam. Let's go. What the hell? Hello? Hello. Well, that sucks. I'm picking at my ear or some shit. What is this? Are you serious? Well, that's not a good fucking start. What the hell? Oh. All right. Okay. How about now? Scuba Steve in the house. Rebby, what you find ass? What's up? How you doing? Joe and Jordan? Wait, no. Yeah, Joe and Jordan, what's up? Am I live now? You see me? Huh? What do you think, Steve? Steve, are we good? Rebby? What's up, bro? What's up? Hope you had a good holiday. We are done with Christmas. And so we will be moving on to New Year's. I have no life, so I will be probably streaming. I have a question for you. Do you like my new thumbnail ability? Huh? Look at that one. That's a good one. I'm going to show you the one I didn't use, okay? I have another one. I didn't use this one. Hold on. I also have this one. Do you like this one? Do you like this one? Hey, what's up, Carla? Jim Joe, what's up? Dean Teeter is in the house. What's up, Mr. Dean Teeter? Look, I have this one. I have another one too I made. Wait. This one too, but it doesn't really look like me. It looks like somebody else. It doesn't look like me. And you know what's funny is all I did was tell ChatGPT. I described Tommy, and that's what it did. Isn't that badass? So no, but I like this one. This is the one I used for today's broadcast. Polly is at the car washing all the salt off of her car. Apparently, that is a snow Minnesota problem. Nico, what's up? What is up? So, yeah, Dark MAGA, right, exactly. The other one though, if you notice this one though, if you notice, if I go back to this one, no, that's not the one. Which is the one where I changed? Now, if you notice this one, what does the hat say? What does the hat say? Hey, Fixer, what's up, brother? Tahiti Wave, everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the show. We're just getting started. I haven't even done my thing. But look what the hat says. You know what I mean? So I've been using ChatGPT a lot today. Only using it for certain things, you know. But that's what we're going with for today's show. I think that's really good. That's so good. If you saw what the small thing that I wrote out to make that, you would be like... Ginger Shepherd, what's up? Right, Nico? Okay, so this is what we're going to do, guys. Tommy's probably going to go out there. I'm going to pull up his Twitter right now. In fact, if you're not following me on Twitter, what's up, Greg? If you're not following me, I really appreciate it. I'll pin it for right now. I really appreciate it if you're following me. So So this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go to Tommy's page and I'm just gonna wait, you know, and we're gonna put it over here in the corner, right? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it over here. We're gonna don't worry, I have things queued up already, okay? That is the one I have queued up though. Okay. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna put this like in the corner up here. So when he goes live, right? This little bubble turns pink around his head, right? That little bubble. So we'll keep it just like this. So when it turns pink that he's live, it'll happen in real time, and then we'll know. If you would be so kind as to like the stream, I dropped like $7,000, $6,000 on Christmas stuff. So if you could at least like the stream and maybe share it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, that would be great too. If you would subscribe, watch a couple of my videos. I'm going to be making more videos, a ton more. I decided to take a couple days and just chill out. I'm doing some streams, but I'm not making any, just a couple of days. I'm on vacation from my regular job. So that's what's happening. Chevy, what's up? Hello, everyone. And so far, so good on the members. I still have over 1,000 members. So we'll see how long that lasts. So this is what we got going here. It was such a success. Oh, wait. I'm going to have to pull the thumbnail off. Well, you know what? How about we make the thumbnail just smaller. And we'll put it down here, right? So it'll be like that, right? All right. So it was such a successful thing the other night with the baby Trump. I decided we would start off with one of these. I really like the idea of starting off with something like this every time, and watching like just the latest video. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. So I think that's what we're gonna go with. I have some pretty disturbing things to show you. So let's start out with something positive and funny. And the title of this one is Baby Trump Takes Baby Biden Bowling.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Trump Bowling Alley, a wonderful bowling alley, really one of the finest, nothing like it maybe ever. And Biden was late, but that's okay. We forgive him. But I'm here to show America once again what winning looks like, because nobody, and I mean nobody, bowls like I do. World leaders call me all the time. They say, "Sir, how do you do it?" I tell them, natural talent, incredible talent. I'm the kingpin.
Where do I, is this the ice cream place? Jill said we were going to the thing.
The thing? Joe, the only thing here is your bowling ball about to roll straight into the gutter.
Huh? Oh, come on, man, give me a break. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Watch closely, folks. There's nothing like my bowling swing, folks. We made a deal with the lanes, a beautiful deal. I said, if you let my ball go into the gutter, we're putting tariffs on the pins. 1,000% tariffs, maybe even 2,000%. And guess what? They said, "Sir, no, please, we won't do it. Please, sir."
Come on, man, you can't tariff the pins. They're not even alive, Jack. You can't just, negotiate with them. I tried that once with the chair in the Oval Office. Doesn't work.
Well, you're not me, Sleepy Joe. That's the difference. I can negotiate with the pins. I could negotiate with a brick wall if I had to. Read my book, Joe, The Art of the Deal. Tremendous book. Everybody's read it. It might even help you with the furniture in the Oval Office.
Okay, my turn, pal. Okay, hang on. These balls look like big frozen scoops of ice cream, folks. I'm getting a brain freeze just looking at them. Someone tell me which flavor to choose. Come on, man.
Look, Joe, they're bowling balls. Please, just pick one, okay?
Okay, I'll go with the mint flavor.
Listen, I grew up in a middle-class family, and we were always taught that what can be
It's Kamala.
is unburdened by what has been, And when you understand the significance of that moment, you begin to understand the moment we are in,
Only Joe could miss every pin, miss the lane, and manage to hit a parked car. Truly unbelievable.
That's no car alarm, man. Come on, give me a break. That's my former border czar, Kamala Harris. Man, you hear that laugh and I swear, I think I got like PTSD or something, man.
Yeah, PTSD. Definitely more than just PTSD, let me tell you, folks.
Come on, man, this is outrageous. I went to the Cross Hall today, the White House. My house, man. Well, used to be, I think. And you got my official portrait replaced with a picture of the damn auto pen.
Joe, calm down. Deep breaths. It's called historical accuracy. We like accuracy now. We're very into accuracy. Just ask those pinheads over there. And everybody knows that pen did more work than you ever did. Frankly, it deserved the portrait. Beautiful portrait. Much more lifelike, believe me.
It's not even a person, man. What a bunch of malarkey. It's a machine, and you got people taking pictures with it. Jill said it's dehumanizing or depresidentializing. Something like that, yeah.
Oh, come on, Joe. You don't even know what a pen looks like anymore, okay? Last time you tried to sign a document, you grabbed a breadstick. A breadstick! You dipped it in ink like you were at Olive Garden or something. Folks, you can't make this stuff up.
I thought it was one of those fancy pens, man. The edible ones. They got those in Delaware. No, I'm serious, man, not a joke.
Uh-oh. Here we go with Delaware again. It always goes back to Delaware with this guy. Unbelievable.
Listen, you can't just make the auto pen president.
Hey, listen, people liked it. It didn't fall upstairs. It didn't wander off stage. It didn't try to shake hands with ghosts. Honestly, Joe, that pen had a stronger public presence than you, quite frankly.
Come on, man. That's not fair.
Life's not fair, Joe. Ask the bowling pins. They're about to take a bigger beating than your vice president got in the 2024 election. Look, we have beautiful lanes here, gorgeous lanes, and then we've got Joe confused, wandering, and probably about to challenge a mop to a debate. Not a good look, folks. Not a good look.
Hey, pal, listen up. I'm serious, man. Have you heard of the Baby News Network, man? Come on. They're the best around. Best in the whole dang thing. So just hit the subscribe, would you? Do it already. All right. God love you. I got to get back to golf.
Golf? Joe, are you a stupid person? We're bowling. The people definitely believe you won the 2020 election. No doubt about that, folks. No doubt about that.
Come on, man. Look, here's the deal. I won that election fair and square by, I think it was 30 billion, no, wait, Jill wrote it down. 30 trillion million votes, man. Biggest landslide since the thing. Come on, man. Let me show you something. This is strategy. Old-fashioned Scranton strategy.
Strategy? That's what you're calling that, Joe? I don't even know where you got that thing. This is a bowling alley, not a farmer's market. This is why we don't let him pick produce or policies, folks.
Listen, look, here's the deal. I saw a big round green thing. I picked it up. I threw it. That's it. That's the whole deal. Back home, we used to do that behind the, right near well, anyway, it made sense back then.
Sure you did, Joe. Just like you meant to fall up the Air Force One stairs 3 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly. God love you, man.
2 strikes, folks. 2. That's called a victory. A beautiful victory. Probably the greatest bowling victory since the invention of pins. Meanwhile, Joe here can't even keep the ball in the lane. He's working on a perfect game, too. All gutters. Can you believe it?
We tied, right? That's what someone said. We tied. Look, come on, man. If we're talking golf.
Oh, excuse me, or as Tommy would say, Polybius. Hello, Polybius.
I'll take you any day. Any day. I got my swing down to a 5. No, a 4. I mean, you know, it's my Scranton swing, man. Anyway, I got a beautiful handicap.
4 handicap? Give me a break. The only handicap you've got, Joe, is upstairs, okay? Everybody sees it. Half the time you don't know where you are, and the other half you're looking for the exit. And he's talking about beating me in golf. I'd beat him so badly on the golf course, they'd have to rig it for him to win. That bad, folks. It wouldn't even be close. Everybody knows it.
Oh, give me a break, pal.
Well, folks, we came here, we dominated, and now Joe's taking his little nap with the cleaning supplies. Very appropriate, actually. Very symbolic. Another beautiful win. A perfect win. MAGA wins again.
So, all right. The funny part of the show is now over, and I want to do something that's going to give me a chance to create a video out of it, or maybe for you to clip it out and make a video. I don't know. So there's something that I keep hearing. There's several things that we keep hearing, and one of them is that Alligator Alcatraz is a concentration camp. And, you know, one of the problems I can see that these clowns have done is they have softened really bad language. Now calling someone a fascist, a racist, a Nazi, that just means they don't agree with you. They've dumbed it down to where the words don't really mean anything. If somebody calls me any one of those words, I'm just going to tell them, yeah, I am. Because to them, that just means that I disagree with them. And it's weird that if they have 10 things that they believe and you believe 9 of them, but you disagree with them on one thing, they want you unalived. And that's not okay. I myself am very comfortable saying that I don't agree with every single last thing that Donald Trump says or does. Most of the stuff he does, yes, but sometimes he says stuff and I'm like, ooh, or he tweets stuff and I'm like, ooh, you should probably have just shut the fuck up. And it's just my opinion. That doesn't mean I disown him, or, you know, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and they do something that I don't agree with, that doesn't mean we break up or I stop being friends with them or I call a divorce lawyer. What the hell? There would be no marriages at all. One thing wrong. So I'm very comfortable with being able to disagree with someone who I overall fully support. Does that make sense? So these people keep saying how we are Nazis and we're putting people in concentration camps. So I want to do a little deep dive, if you don't mind. And I want to do a little comparing and contrasting. And I want to watch a couple videos, a couple things. It's still early over in Portland. It's 5 o'clock. I would imagine Tommy's going to go out soon. And when he does, we'll flip over right away. We won't wait. We'll cut the broadcast and go right to Rumble, so we can catch every minute of what Tommy's happening, you know? But in the meantime, I need to do this and not only just entertain you, but give you something to really think about. And I'm also giving you all fuel for the fire of your debate in your own life. For example, Polly, I'm going to put Polly on the spot. And this is not anything that's going to be funny or making fun of her, but Polly has a extended family member who is a liberal R-word. I know, because I talked to him kinda on the phone for a minute and he's a complete moron. And she might have to debate this moron at some point. And I want to give you as much fuel as you can handle and hold on to in your brain. So when someone pops off and says, Alligator Alcatraz, well, that's a concentration camp. I'm Jewish, okay? Do you think, as a Jew, if Alligator Alcatraz was a concentration camp, that I would have this and wear this. I wore this out a few times and people look at that and they look at me and they look at back then. They look at me and they keep fucking walking. You know why? Because I got the crazy eye thing going, you know? So there is no help for your nephew. He's a schmuck. So here's the thing. These people keep calling what we're doing that of the Nazis. And I'm telling you right now, after today's broadcast, if you're on the fence about your knowledge of Nazi Germany, of concentration camps, of the way Alligator Alcatraz is and set up, and it's not even, they had to shut it down temporarily, right? So if you're confused and you don't know about the details and like you're like, well, is it a concentration camp? I really don't know. We need to do a deep dive and figure it out. Okay. Now I don't know who these two moronic people are. Sam Cedar or something is his name. Here, let me move so you can see. Oh, well, Chuck is blocking it. Hold on, Chuck. There he goes. Sam Cedar. So I don't know who this guy is, but it's people like this that I don't know what it is, the Monroe Doctrine or something or whatever it is, where like the news media cannot like on purpose lie about like these people that keep saying things like this guy says is just out of control. These are the reasons that the people want like call us Nazis and stuff. It's ridiculous. Watch this. I watched 35 seconds of it and I was like, what the hell, man?
Increasingly, we're hearing more reports out of Florida on this alligator Alcatraz. The Miami Herald has been doing some great work on this, and I recommend their reporting. It is this is a concentration camp, and it is I mean, in dismal shape. According to the Miami Herald, hundreds at Alligator Alcatraz have no criminal charges. This is supposedly,
except for entering the country illegally. You know, and in Singapore, they have this thing called a Singapore cane, and they beat your fucking ass with it. In North Korea, they shoot a missile at your head. In China, Russia, all the Stan countries, you know, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, you'll never be seen again, ever. I could keep going. Every country in Africa, hell, even Mexico, Canada, our closest countries to us. You go there illegally, you go to Mexico illegally and burn the Mexican flag and see how quickly they arrest your stupid ass. And that's not like a misdemeanor. That's you are going to prison in Mexico for like a decade. If they and then I mean, they don't have a lot of country. I mean, I don't know if they're like really patriotic, like inside the prisons, like, right. I would imagine that if you go to prison in Mexico and they find out that you're there because you basically took a piss on their flag and set it on fire and whatever, I would imagine that you won't last 10 years in Mexican prison.
a detention facility that both Florida state and federal officials have characterized as the place where, quote, vicious and deranged psychopaths are.
By the way, one more thing, and I'll let the rest of this one play. Fun fact, and you fact checked, please fact check me on this. I'm begging you. Mexico has a fucking wall at their southern border.
Sent before they get deported. There are 250 people there who have only immigration violations, but no criminal convictions or pending charges in the U.S. The data is based on a list of more than 700 people who are being held under tents and in chain link cells at Florida's pop-up detention center in the Everglades, or appear slated for transfer there. Hundreds of them have only pending charges. The records don't disclose the nature of those alleged allegations. So this is just, I mean, it's a horror show. And fortunately, 3 Democratic congressional members visited, including, I think it was a 50
detention. I think half of whom, and maybe like a dozen or so, and half reportedly, and half of whom in Florida. And Thomas Kennedy, who a great reporter based in Florida, tweeted out this just to kind of show how this is working. Texas-based company gave $10,000 to Florida's Republican Party days before getting state contracts to help with transportation at a state-run detention facility for migrants in the Everglades. And Kennedy has also pointed out a lot of these trucking companies will duct tape over their company's logo as they're helping to set this stuff up.
You're not proud about this? Yeah.
Should also, just a reminder, in that raid on that farm up in California, one person died. He was trying to escape. I think it was a 57-year-old man who's been in the country for about, I think it was 20 years.
Had been working at that farm for 10 years.
Had been working at the farm for 10 and was no danger to anybody. I mean,
fell and broke his neck in the panic.
Yep.
He was sending money, working and sending money to his daughter and wife who were still in Mexico. And according to another relative, he was the sole income for his daughter and wife. So these are the dangerous criminals that the Trump administration wants you to demonize here.
Later, we're going to be talking to Chris Geithner about, among other things, the ruling in California that for the time being made Tom Homan redefine
like the stream
the definition of reasonable suspicion that he'd been operating under, which is a good thing.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe.
First, we're going to hear from Wesley Cheek, a sociologist and assistant professor at Massachusetts Maritime Academy, on FEMA and the disaster response and preparation in Texas.
Okay, so I'm not going to let this guy advertise. So I wanted to watch a couple different perspectives, right? A couple different perspectives, and we're going to see what the difference is. Wait, what am I doing? I'm torturing you? Like, don't be a... What are you saying? What are you saying? Like, I ain't got no fucking time for no bullshit. Seriously. Like, don't even start with me. I'm not in the fucking mood. Yeah, no. It's important. It's a necessary thing. You have to watch this so that when you watch this, you realize how dumb they really are.
Deep in the Florida Everglades, tonight President Trump says this massive migrant detention camp built in just 8 days has an unusual deterrent to prevent any escapes.
Don't run in a straight line. Run like this.
He calls it Alligator Alcatraz.
It's meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, the more I liked it.
With gators clearly visible outside, NBC News getting a first look inside.
The partnership with the state has been great, right?
Acting Eister.
Now, I seem to recall another president called Barack Hussein Obama put up the first cages just like this. These are the Obama cages, okay? Now, I also seem to see bunk beds with pillows. They have blankets. I don't see any dirtiness. I don't see any... I mean, it's like they act like the alligators are inside there with them. I mean, you got to make it outside of yourself first, right? And they're only there for a small amount of time. You know what I mean? You got to just pay attention to what this guy is saying.
Director Todd Lyons telling us the goal is to keep detainees here no longer than 2 weeks, where they can appear before.
Hold on. We got to listen to that again. Pay attention to what he's saying. It's very important.
State has been great, right?
Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons telling us the goal is to keep detainees here no longer than 2 weeks, where they can appear before.
2 weeks to keep detainees there for no more than 2 weeks while they waited judge's orders to be sent back to their country. This is not a permanent prison facility. That's why it's not set up for permanent housing. It's specifically, hey Fiona, it's specifically set up for a temporary, like almost like layover on their way back to Honduras or Guatemala or wherever they're from. I'm going to have to walk away to my front door and check because I got groceries being delivered because I'm lazy and I have them delivered. So, yeah.
Judge and be deported from the
4
camp's
minutes.
existing runway.
How would you respond to critics who think that this is not where immigrants should be housed?
Well, what I would say is that obviously individuals that want to come here to enjoy the American dream should think about returning on their own. So they're not in a detained setting, right?
President Trump was
And if you've watched any documentary on like San Quentin or Cofield prison or any of the other supermax prisons out there, this right here is damn nice compared to San Quentin. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse.
elected pledging to deport the record number of migrants who crossed into the U.S. under President Biden.
I ran on the issue of illegals, and we have to get them out.
According to data reviewed by NBC News, almost half of those currently in ICE custody have neither been convicted of nor charged with a crime.
Is the administration still going after the worst of the worst?
We are.
The administration stresses the priority is violent criminals, but anyone who is here illegally is breaking the law.
Through the course of another law enforcement investigation, we do come across people that are just here illegally. We will no longer turn a blind eye to that.
Still, environmental groups are suing.
Get the hell out of our Everglades.
While Trump supporters are cheering this detention center.
I think it's great. Get the holes out of here.
The Department of Homeland Security says this center will be paid for by FEMA funds the Biden administration previously used to house migrants, including in New York City. Nationwide, ICE's detention space is at 140% capacity. So the president says this center could be a blueprint for other states. Tom?
Gabe Gutierrez down in Miami for us. Gabe, we thank you. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news.
Oh, shut up, clown. So, you saw what it looked like. You saw what the liberals said. I want you to know I'm really, really sorry that I'm about to do this to you. I really, really am. I'm really sorry that you're about to watch this. You're not going to have a good time right now. You're not going to enjoy this at all. But you need to know, if you don't know the absolute horrible details, this is the safest, most detailed video that will not get me in any sort of trouble that I could find. This, my friends, every single liberal moron who keeps saying that we're all Nazis, who keeps calling Donald Trump Hitler, who keeps claiming that we are putting people in fucking concentration camps. They all, every single one of them, should be sat down and forced to watch this. Please don't unsubscribe from me. Please understand that education is probably the most important part of life. And you must educate yourself, even if it's difficult, to know the information that you're about to gain. Once again, I'm very, very sorry, but you have to watch this.
You're woken in the night by the hatch to the attic being splintered open. Members of your family shriek in horror as men in long black coats pour into the enclosed space, barking furious orders in German and brandishing their pistols menacingly. On the lapels of their coats, the
the title of this video is One Day. One day. Your first day in a real Nazi concentration camp.
Double lightning
I'll be right
bolts
back.
of the SS gleam in the glow of their flashlights. This is yet another detachment charged with hunting down undesirables in Nazi-occupied territory. And despite years of hiding away, your luck has just run out. You and your family are manhandled out of the attic and dragged out into the street, kicking and screaming, before being tossed into the back of a military vehicle at gunpoint. If you try to escape, they'll kill you. But death may be a reprieve compared to what awaits you in the horrors of a Nazi concentration camp. As a Jew or one of the other many minority groups persecuted by the Nazis in the 1930s and 40s, if you were caught by the SS or the Gestapo, you were generally persecuted, beaten, captured, and then sent to a concentration camp. While the possibility of you being snatched off the streets for the simple crime of being a Jew is already a concern, what's more haunting is you never can tell when it'll happen. Your journey to a Nazi concentration camp is never a single clear-cut or straightforward route. It twists and it turns, influenced by your background and the shifting whims of the Nazi regime's arbitrary quota. To reiterate, perhaps you find yourself here because of your ties to groups opposing the Nazis, communists, socialists, trade unionists, or anyone suspected of dissent. Or maybe you were deemed undesirable for the Nazis' vision of society, homeless, homosexual, mentally ill, petty criminal, or simply seen as unproductive. Some unfortunate souls ended up here through random mass arrests when they were caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Others faced imprisonment for their religious beliefs, like Jehovah's Witnesses, who refused to bow to the new order. Or maybe you're simply one of the primary targets of Hitler's brimming hatred, a member of the Jewish faith and ethnicity, considered worth nothing more than the gum beneath a German boot. Even the journey to the camp is designed to rob you of your humanity and to instill fear and shame, to terrify you regardless of who you are. Man, woman, young, old, healthy, or sick. The arrival process is meant to crush your spirit, subjecting you to unimaginable abuse, all part of a system that seeks to dehumanize or destroy. The Nazis will do anything to break you. Once taken, you're forcefully loaded into vehicles, whether trains or trucks, and transported to a concentration camp chosen by the soldiers. In this vehicle, you'll meet other Jews of all ages, cowering in fear, eyes filled with terror. There's barely enough space in the vehicle, and chances are there will either be a very small window or no window at all. You are denied water, food, and even the basic decency of toilet facilities. If you or the many other prisoners crammed in the tight space like animals need to relieve yourself, you're provided a bucket and nothing more. Without food or water, you're starved and dehydrated, stuck in a claustrophobic square, filled with the smell of vomit, excrement, and the tangy smell of dread. The uncertainty of where you're being forcefully taken to grips you like a vice you cannot extricate yourself from. This journey you're forced on can take days, filled with suffering and an inability to do anything in the face of anxiety and terror that comes from the void of genocidal tyranny. Sometimes being transported in overcrowded freight cars often meant you lost sight of family members who were also captured along with you. Worse still, there is no hope whatsoever that you'll cross paths ever again. Perhaps they die in transit. Perhaps they're executed by the trigger-hungry German soldiers. Perhaps they simply get sent to a different camp. The truth is, you may never find out. You're also never told where you're being sent to. The situational blindness makes the entire process even scarier. If you were arrested in the later part of the Holocaust, you probably have heard rumors of concentration camps in the East. If you were privy to that information, maybe you already knew what your fate was. Maybe you were already aware of the dreadful living conditions awaiting you in the infamous East. Regardless of what you know, you can do nothing but wait with dread and painful agitation. Still, nothing can prepare you for the misfortune that waited for you within the barbed wire fences of the concentration camps. Like the many unfortunate souls being walked to Nazi concentration camps, the transport itself felt like a march towards certain death. However, whether by a stroke of bad luck or mercy, you or some other prisoners tightly packed into the airless freight vehicles or trucks may not make it to the dreadful camps. You see, transport conditions were often lethal and inhumane, without access to food and water, and with the only toilet facilities for long-distance trips being a bucket. The airless transport trucks where the prisoners are crammed in are filled with the aforementioned overpowering smell of vomit, urine, and excrement. Hence, many prisoners died en route to the camps due to dehydration, starvation, suffocation, or illness. You may watch while this happens, or you may be the one being watched by other hopeless souls as you gasp your final breath on the cold floor of the stuffy vehicles. When you arrive at the camp, you're pushed off the vehicle, shoved headfirst into a rather despairing situation. At first, you're led as one big group. Then the soldiers split you and the other prisoners into two smaller groups of men and women with children. Afterward, you and the other terrified prisoners are subjected to a macabre welcome rite where one of the scary SS guards in tan uniforms barks commands at you, asking to provide your age, occupation, and health condition. As a prisoner who's just been ostracized from society, yanked from the grips of their family, denied access to basic pleasures such as good food and health services, and transported miles without food or water, it isn't unusual that your health might be hardly good upon arrival at concentration camps. Hence, depending on your answers to the questions asked by the SS officer, you're either deemed fit for work when the SS officer points his thumb to the right, or sent to immediate execution if his digit points left. As a prisoner during the Holocaust, the grim reality of having your fate sealed and being condemned to death with a simple gesture from a German soldier was a chilling fate that befell many, including you. The moment those fingers pointed to deem you unfit for work, your heart must have sunk as you realized the cruel destiny that awaited. Hundreds of thousands of Jews who were considered sick, too old, or too young to be of any economic importance in concentration camps faced this same dreadful verdict during those dark times. As you're led away toward the gas chambers, a building designed to be a killing machine, you may kick and fight and beg for mercy. However, there was never a means of escape. Your fate has been sealed by a German soldier whose remembrance of your face is nothing but a fleeting memory. The abruptness of this sentence, the finality of it all, is one final crushing blow to your spirit. What if you survived? Well, you just have to face and somehow endure the horrors awaiting you. After you experience the extremely dehumanizing process of being segregated into groups, surrounded by equally terrified strangers who shared your fate as a Jew and are deemed unworthy to coexist with Germans, you're put through another humiliating process. You're asked to strip yourself of your belongings. Every effect that's connected to your past life has no place in these camps. Clothing, valuables, personal items, everything was taken and piled on a platform, never to be returned. Passing the selection process might have meant escape from gas chambers. However, even that relief is short-lived. After being forced to surrender your possessions, you're dealt blows and pushed along as SS guards attempt to register you into the camp system. Registration means you're given a prison number that instantly replaces your name. In the past, before you were plucked off the street, you were forced to add Israel if you were a male Jew, or Sarah if you were a female Jew, to be easily recognized. However, in this camp, the entirety of your name is taken away, and you're assigned a number instead. The assigning of prison numbers was a deliberate tactic to erase individual identities, reducing you to mere numbers devoid of humanity. Sometimes this number is stitched onto your prison uniform, which is most likely a striped two-piece made out of uncomfortable fabric. Sometimes, especially at Auschwitz, the number is tattooed on your arms, branding you permanently. After the registration process is completed, you're asked to undress in the presence of hundreds of prisoners and the watching guards. There and then your head is shaved regardless of gender, and you're forced to shower in groups, while SS guards watch you with extreme scrutiny. Finally, you'll be given your prison uniform, one of the few belongings they would allow in their camp. Life in a concentration camp meant you were constantly surrounded by German soldiers placed to herd you like a flock. In a way, you have indeed become a flock, stripped of identity and subjected to the most barbaric treatments possible. The hierarchical structure in many concentration camps mimics the model established at Dachau, the first Nazi concentration camp. You'll soon discover that the German staff in your camp is led by the Lagerkommandant, or camp commander, and a team of junior officers. Besides these specially trained officers, there were also male and female wardens to whom you had to respond. Similarly, you'll also discover that prisoners have a hierarchical structure of their own, with prisoner supervisors, or capos, being considered your commander. Every other prisoner outside the capos, including yourself, will be assigned colored triangle badges to identify the reason prisoners were placed in camps and facilitate task assignment. Living conditions in the camps are nothing short of destitute. Soldiers given absolute power by Hitler believed that you and the other Jews deserved no better and thus offered the barest minimum they could spare. This means you'll most likely be assigned to barracks that were designed to hold far fewer people than those that ended up crammed inside. If you're unlucky, your barrack would be run down with problems such as leaking roofs that make life even more miserable and intolerable when it rains. Of course, the guards give you a bed to sleep in. However, these beds are tiny bunks that are typically several tiers high and placed directly on muddy floors. Don't get too comfortable thinking you get a bed to yourself. The limited space available in these camps meant you were required to share your already too small bed with other prisoners. Hence, while the bunks were designed to hold 3 people with 1 person per tier, in reality they hold up to 18 prisoners with 6 people per tier. When there weren't any more bunks to spare, you might have to sleep in tents made out of extremely thin materials, or even worse, damp tunnels without any covering. You're also provided no bedding or blankets beside the straw bedding placed atop your tiny cot. These straw mattresses, if provided, were rarely replaced when fouled with vomit or urine or infested by lice or ticks. As expected of anywhere with such awful sanitation, your barrack will probably be swarmed with lice, rats, or other vermin that facilitate the spread of diseases. Naturally, as one would expect, diseases spread rather quickly in this state. This means you're constantly surrounded by deathly ill prisoners, or worse, you become one. In your barrack, heating came in the form of 2 small stoves, which were nowhere near sufficient for heating entire rooms, let alone the prisoners in them. Sanitation facilities were inadequate, leading to overflowing toilets, constant stench, and once again, the spread of disease. Still, this isn't all. Your daily battle for survival revolves around the constant struggle with hunger and the meager rations provided by the Nazis. The indifference toward your well-being is evident in the paltry meals that are meant to sustain you at a bare minimum, not to nourish or support your health. These meager portions, consisting of watery soup, stale bread, and occasionally a small piece of sausage or cheese, were far from satisfying or nutritious. The mealtimes, if they could be called that, are a stark reminder of the harsh reality of camp life. The gnawing hunger that eats away at your insides becomes a relentless companion, weakening your body, leaving you vulnerable to illness and perpetuating a cycle of deprivation and desperation. The struggle for even the smallest scraps of food become a daily trial, with many prisoners succumbing to the brutal living conditions they were subjected to, despite surviving the initial sorting process. Worse still, you're expected to provide labor in these conditions. The type of work you engage in while held in concentration camps varies depending on the camp. However, you may be asked to perform tasks such as heavy construction, rock quarrying, digging trenches, or factory work. You may also be assigned tasks related to expanding camps, manufacturing armaments, clerical duties, crafts, trades, labor on farms, factory work, mining, or chemical plants. In concentration camps, you're introduced to a life that involves working up to 14 grueling hours per day while being watched like hawks by guards. It becomes the norm for you to get beaten by wardens or capos when you move too slowly or go out of the line of duty without permission. If you manage to survive the living conditions, disease, and hunger, you may end up succumbing to stress and dying from being overworked. Or if you survive those, you're either beaten to death, executed, or sent away as guinea pigs for medical experiments. Inevitably, given the deplorable living conditions, sickness spreads rampantly around you. However, the anti-Semitic regime showed no regard for the well-being of those deemed unworthy of life, denying you even basic medical attention. Minor injuries festered untreated, while grave illnesses became fatal sentences, sealing the fate of many. Typhus, dysentery, and tuberculosis were just a few of the deadly diseases that ravaged the camps, waiting to take you out. The combination of physical hardship, constant fear, and the loss of loved ones takes a devastating toll on your mental state. Depression, hopelessness, and despair become your common companions in the daily struggle for survival. Still, you have no choice but to suffer day after day. Life for the average prisoner held in Nazi concentration camps began with the Appell, a daily lineup that took place unfailingly every morning and evening. Whether it rained, snowed, or was bitterly cold, you and other prisoners are expected to always be present for the Appell. You wake up to the chilling reality of another day in the camp between the hours of 4 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. every day. The air is heavy with despair, as you and the other prisoners are roughly awoken in the barracks by the sound of a loud gong and capos yelling. As you open your eyes, the harsh reality of your surroundings hits you like a wave of darkness. You were just one among the countless souls trapped in this seemingly eternal hell. It wasn't unusual to find bodies of the many who didn't survive the night laying stiffly in their cramped sleeping positions, mostly ignored by the German officers. although now considered nothing more than husks needing disposal. In the eyes of the Germans, these bodies were probably your family or friends, or simply a companion who shared the hard times with you. So you grieve. If you're unlucky, you get to experience Bettenbau or Bettenmachen, which roughly translates to the making of a bed following very strict rules. Following SS guards, you're expected to make your bed. However, given the limited space caused by overcrowding, your weakened physical state due to stress and malnutrition, and unnecessary bed-making regimens set by the SS, you most likely will fail. When this happens, you're beaten, sometimes to death, while other prisoners helplessly watch. In many cases, you knew this person. They could be your neighbor, your doctor, or a local clerk. If you somehow managed to make your bed, you were expected to clean yourself with the dirty water available in the camp, and of course, without access to soap or other toiletries. Afterward, you get breakfast in your mess tin, served by a capo. Dinner is an unappetizing meal of stale bread with watered-down tea or coffee, without the luxury of milk or sugar. On good days, you receive a thin slice of sausage or margarine. Like many things that went on within concentration camps, even the mere act of collecting food was tinged with maliciousness. Sometimes capos single you out as an act of wickedness, throwing your bread in the mud. Sometimes they'll push you, spilling your watery coffee or tea on the ground. When this happens, you either forfeit your meal or pick your muddy bread off the floor, dust it off best you can, and eat. After breakfast, you're expected to respond to the Appell or Appelplatz, the dreaded morning roll call. Regardless of the circumstances, except for those working far away or in the camp's kitchen, every prisoner was required to assemble for this daily count. Even the deceased were expected to be present, their lifeless bodies lined up at the front of the gathering, a gut-wrenching reminder of the harsh reality of camp life. During the Appell, you and your fellow prisoners stood in rigid rows of 10, meticulously counted by the capos under the watchful eyes of the SS guards and officers. Any movement was met with swift and brutal punishment, with soldiers quick to mete out beatings for the slightest infraction. The counting process, often repeated to ensure accuracy, meant you had to endure hours of standing in formation. Sometimes in harsh weather conditions, the physical strain was immense, causing prisoners to collapse out of exhaustion, an action that carries severe consequences. Attempts to evade the Appell were met with the same level of brutality, with those caught facing beatings, torture, or even death as punishment. Once the roll call was completed, to the satisfaction of the Nazi soldiers, you were marched off to your assigned work sites on foot, varying in distance from a short walk to several miles. Forced to sing degrading songs for the guards' amusement, you had to maintain a grueling pace under the threat of violence for any perceived disobedience. Falling behind meant severe punishment, reinforcing the constant fear and pressure to comply with the guards' demands. When noon rolls around, you'll be signaled to return to the camp for the afternoon roll call. It's like the morning roll call all over again, a seemingly unending tally where you're expected to stand at attention, this time under the scorching sun and exhausted from all the work they'd done. Afterward, lunch is provided, which is a small respite from the challenging daily routine. This was the norm in the earlier years. However, later the German soldiers arranged for lunch to be taken down to the labor sites to reduce the amount of time spent walking to and from the camp, thereby increasing the amount of time spent working. You're typically released from labor at approximately 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. daily, during winter at sundown. Sometimes you might even be forced to work through the night. However, when work ends in the evenings, you're marched back to the camp for the final roll call of the day. While you may manage to stumble back the distance you walked in the morning, other prisoners who had passed away during duty will be carried back to the camp by your mates to participate in the evening roll call. Once again, inaccuracies were unavoidable, and discrepancies in the number of prisoners counted meant that the roll call could take hours to complete. The process is often made longer as a form of punishment. If you endured the day's ordeal without collapsing from exhaustion or facing brutal punishment, you're granted a meager dinner ration, usually a thin and watery vegetable soup. Once again, the familiar routine of presenting your mess tin or risking going hungry for the night repeated itself, a reminder of the constant struggle for sustenance. Or maybe you wound up in the lesser fortunate camps where dinner is a luxury unknown to the prisoners. In this case, after backbreaking labor, you're sent straight to your barracks, where they're given free time. You and the other prisoners around you might use this free time to barter with each other, trading one item for another that you may need between yourselves. If you manage to get dinner, you're expected to retire to your barrack as soon as mealtime is over. Lights out is typically 9 p.m. in many camps, but it could be later. Once inside your barrack, leaving during the night was strictly prohibited. To ensure no prisoner attempts to sneak out, Blockführers and guards constantly paraded the grounds, keeping their eyes peeled for the sign of a defaulting prisoner. Blockführers were often also called death heads. They wore green triangles on their uniforms, an insignia that meant real criminals. These soldiers had the power to determine your fate if you were caught outside the barracks during bedtime. They decided who lived and who died as punishment. Retreating to the barracks at the end of the day meant you had managed to survive the hardships of the day. However, it also meant you had to live through these ordeals again the next day. The lack of essential medical facilities and life-saving resources meant that falling sick would lead you to a grim fate. While there were designated sick bays or infirmaries, they were often mere illusions of care and compassion. In some camps where fellow inmates were tasked with running the sick bays, there were valiant attempts to aid you and other ailing companions. However, the overwhelming challenges of rampant disease, horrid living conditions, and severe shortages of medical supplies rendered those efforts largely futile. Many diaries that survived the Holocaust featured prisoners' recounts of healthcare at concentration camps. Regardless of the camps where these diary entries were written, they all share the same experiences as you. The infirmaries, typically stationed in old buildings, like the rest of the camps, had no water, no plumbing, no electricity other than natural lighting, dirty cots similar to those in the barracks, a repugnant straw mattress covered in pus and blood. On each filthy mattress are at least 2 sick people, sometimes looking very skeletal and almost always covered with scabies, boils, devoured by lice, or simply completely naked. In cases where there's a disease outbreak and the sick bays are packed full, it isn't uncommon to find more than 2 sick people sharing a mattress. They lay shivering from cold, suffering and waiting for help, or at least waiting for death. Despite the lousy living conditions that you're in, you hold on to fragile strands of hope. Hope continues to flicker like an undying candle fights gusts of wind. You attempt to live life as you normally would, keeping cultural and religious activities alive. Maybe you keep journals and diaries that detail your throes at the hands of the German soldiers in the camps. Maybe you write about your daily life on scraps of paper, speaking about the degrading conditions you're forced to live in. Maybe you create artwork instead, creating illustrations and drawings that mimic life in a concentration camp. Or maybe you choose to produce jewelry out of copper wire. Regardless what medium you chose, your works, acting as testimonials to a life as a prisoner living in a concentration camp during the Holocaust, are nothing short of a grim reminder of the resilience and humanity that persisted in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Amidst the shadows of despair and suffering, you hold on to fragments of normalcy, finding solace in your faith, traditions, and artistic expressions. Amid such darkness, these small acts of defiance manage to keep your spirit alive and humanity intact. Life in Nazi concentration camps was a routine nightmare for prisoners, with basic rights stolen from you and nothing to call your own except the rough, striped prison uniform on your back. Nazi concentration camps leave prisoners with nothing but the stark reality of survival in a nightmarish experience. Your daily struggle for survival is marked by the relentless brutality of the SS guards, the dehumanizing routines of roll calls that went on for hours, and the constant fear of punishment or death for the slightest infraction. Irrespective of the pervasive darkness that engulfed you and the hundreds of thousands of Jews and other unfairly detained prisoners in the hands of the enemy, you continue to display remarkable strength and humanity in the face of unspeakable horrors. Through your artworks and pieces of writing, you retain shreds of your identities and humanity, despite the Germans' attempts at snuffing out the flame. These stories are haunting narratives that serve as a poignant reminder of the indomitable human spirit, the ability to endure even in the most extreme circumstances, presenting the power of spiritual strength and hope in the bleakest of times. Up until all prisoners were rescued through the combined efforts of Allied forces, the prisoners in Nazi concentration camps endured a living nightmare that tested their endurance, resilience, and general will to survive. Their liberation from the horrors of the camps marked the beginning of the end of a chapter filled with shocking cruelty, loss, and trauma, offering those who had faced the depths of human depravity a silver lining and a hope for a better life. However, even this liberation did nothing to wipe the charred stain from the minds of those affected, as well as the world at large. Following the liberation of Jews from the clutches of Nazi soldiers in concentration camps, survivors were faced with the daunting task of attempting to rebuild their lives, grappling with the trauma of their experiences, and pursuing justice for the atrocities they faced. The legacy of the Holocaust and the sufferings of Jews serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred, uncontrolled bigotry, and inhumanity urging future generations to remember the past, strive for a world free from such horrors, and seek leadership that works for the freedom and the safety of the innocent. Now check out Real Reason Why.
So what did we learn? What we learned was there are always going to be people like Joe Mazzucco, whatever your stupid name is. There's always going to be fucking clowns like this who come out and say, well, this is just the beginning of that, and you're cheering for it. Trump is just as bad as Hitler. I'm done asking you if you're that fucking stupid, because I already know the damn answer. The damn answer is yes. You are that stupid. If you think for even a second that what's going on right now, us removing illegal immigrants, not immigrants, illegal immigrants from our country is the same as what we just watched, there is absolutely no fucking hope for you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your compadre in the country. I don't want to break bread with you. I don't want to work things out. I want you to leave my fucking country immediately. You are no longer an American, and then quite possibly, depending on how you respond and act to all this, you are, to me at least, a subhuman garbage person. You're not worth my effort to try to explain anything to. If you watch something like this and then look at what's going on in our country right now and go, oh yeah, that's the same thing. What in the fuck are you, your brain is fucking broken. You guys, no matter what Trump does, Trump could save your mom's life on Christmas morning and you'd sue him for touching her without permission. No matter what he does, no matter what, he could bring you $1 million in cash and you would still hate on him because you have Trump derangement syndrome. You're an anti-American, unpatriotic piece of fucking shit. And I wish for all of you, every single last one of you, to go out and form your own damn country and show us your socialist utopia. Show us how it's going to work. I say we give you California, Oregon, and Washington State, and we put a big fucking wall, and you guys can go. AOC and Jasmine Crockett can you be your vice president and your president, and you can have everybody wears a skirt, rainbow, happy land where everybody is equal and everybody shares everything, and everybody asks everybody's pronouns before they ask their fucking names. You can have whatever weirdo, wacko land you want, and in 5 years from now, when 90% of you are fucking not alive anymore, we will just come back, pick up all the pieces, take 10% of you back with us, and just retake our land. There's no other choice. Are you really going to, in 10 years from now, okay, let's say some of you have children under 5 years old, right? And 20 years from now, when your daughter is ready to go get married, or your son is ready to go get married, and they bring that child home, they bring that other kid home that they're going to marry, because they're young people. They bring those people home, and you meet them, and you find out that that person that your daughter is going to marry 10, 15 years ago laughed about Charlie Kirk's murder and dressed up as Halloween as Charlie Kirk with a blood stain on his neck. You're going to be okay in 15 years from now of your daughter marrying a guy like that, or your son marrying a woman that used to have blue hair and a nose ring? I don't care. Ask me in 5 years from now, are you still mad about Charlie Kirk? Yes. Ask me in 20 years, you still mad? Ask me if I'm lucky enough to still be alive in 2044 as I cast my vote for Baron fucking Trump. Yes, I am still mad about Charlie Kirk. I will be mad about a father being executed in front of his child forever. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna come to terms and work things out with you subhuman garbage pieces of shit who keep calling me and my president a Nazi. You know how insulting it is to sit here as a Jew in America who just wore I'm so comfortable being a Jew in America. I wore a fucking Santa hat my entire last stream of 6 hours. And you're going to sit here and tell me that what's going on right now is that of Nazi Germany and the concentration camps? Have you lost your day? See, that's not the question to even ask. You have your fucking minds. So push for truth on who killed him. Joe Mazzico, you are one of the dumbest people I've come across in the last couple weeks. Everything's been going good. You know what's funny is the other guy's name is Joe too. I find that very comical that the other moron who comes in here who spits all kinds of nonsense like you're doing, his stupid fucking name is Joe too. Is that a coincidence? I'm not sure. I'm not all over the place. I know exactly what I'm saying. And if you had even that much intelligence, you could follow me. But if you're already like the R word, you're already brain dead to even think that what's going on is the beginning of Nazism. So how could you possibly understand what I'm saying? It's the weave. I do it too. That's why I understand Donald Trump. Now, I'm not Donald Trump. I can't stand in front of a whole like stadium full of people and do this for 2 hours, but I do the weave too. You're just not smart enough to follow it. That's not my problem. That's a you problem. Stop drinking so much alcohol, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Stop getting your news from that Rachel Maddow guy. Why would you watch Joe Scarborough? Or what's that little bitch ass voice? Brian Stelter. Hey guys, it's Brian Stelter for ABC News, and today we're gonna talk about how racist Donald Trump is. The fuck? That's who you getting your news from? Joe, my question to you is, why do you hate America so much? Why do you hate America? No matter what Trump does, you're upset about it. That's what I'm saying. He could save your mom on Christmas morning, and you'd be mad that he touched her. I don't understand. See, here's the difference between our side and your side, Joe. We can accept different opinions. We can. That's why we don't go out and protest against you guys, because first of all, we at work. That's number one, we working. Number two, we know that going out there and marching through the streets of Chicago for an hour on some random Saturday isn't going to do anything at all. All it's going to do is waste your Saturday and dirty up your damn city. Waste all the cops' time. It's going to give me content though, so do that shit. Whatever. So I don't understand people like you, Joe, how you can look at something like this and objectively think that you're watching something that resembles today's society in any sorts of way. Now, Joe, I'm gonna say something that's kind of like my own personal interest, and other people might not even be into North Korea like I am. I've watched every single damn documentary on North Korea that they have available. I know all about Yeonmi Park, the girl who escaped, who was sold into sex slave in China, and it was horrible what happened to that poor girl. If you were really so concerned about human rights violations, Joe, you'd be marching every day for to free the people of North Korea, or the people of Turkmenistan, or the people of some of these other, Afghanistan, the Taliban or ISIS or whatever, the caliphate. I'm not really super knowledgeable about which section of Islamic jihadist is running which country, but the people who are running Afghanistan, did you know that they took rights away from women, that they had them back. Now they have to cover up with a wee little window in that shit. If you're so concerned with rights, why not march against the people who are really, really having a bad life? The people of North Korea who still think that they're in like some 100-year perpetual war. Do you know that they think that Kim Jong-un or whatever invented like cheeseburgers? They also said that Kim Jong-il, his father, the first time he ever played golf, he shot like a 32, or he got like holes in one on like 13 of the but you're worried about us removing the look. Okay, look, I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, and I have more videos. I'm not just killing time for Tommy. I have more videos to watch, right? But I just want to make sure that I get this out. Man, I really, really need to get this out, okay? We just want a safe and secure country. I personally want a safe and secure country for my parents to live the rest of their lives in, for myself to grow old in, and for my child to grow up and have a family of her own in, and be safe to do so. You guys are the ones, Joe, and I say you guys as far as your side, the liberal Democrats, yours is the side that keeps creating sniper nests and shooting us from the shadows. Meanwhile, all we want is a good, solid country that's patriotic. You know, in the 80s, Joe, Ronald Reagan went against a man named Walter Mondale. And in that, you know, time frame, Ronald Reagan did something that had never been done before, or at least not for a very long time. He won every single state. Then, and only then, were we the United States of America. Right now, Joe, we are the divided states of America. And it's because, sounds like Trump. Well, thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that. Sounds like Trump. Oh, I sound like Trump? So you think, hold on a second. So you're saying that what I said about Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il sounds like Trump. See, that's what I'm saying, Joe. You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see beyond your own Trump derangement syndrome. You actually believe the things that the mainstream media and these fucking clowns are saying to you. Don't you understand, Joe, that you are on the wrong side of history? You're the ones that want us to die. You, Joe, you are the ones that are closer to the Nazi regime than we will ever be. If I don't agree with you, I'm evil. If I don't want to call you any sort of weirdo pronoun, I'm evil. If I don't want to open up my entire country to the world, I'm evil. If I don't want to kill babies at 9 and 8 months in the womb, yeah, I said that. I'm evil if I don't want to do that. If I don't want to lock my front door at night, I'm evil. If I want police to protect me, I'm evil. You call this stolen land. Not because it's stolen land, Joe, but because you're too stupid to go do 10 minutes worth of research and figure out that it's not stolen land, bitch. It's conquered land. And if Mexico wants their conquered land back so bad, they can come reconquer it. We are all waiting with great anticipation of the Mexican-American War version 2. Bring that shit the fuck on. So, what Somalia did for America in 5 minutes. Let's watch this objectively. I did not watch this video. I saw the title. I watched 12 seconds of it. I saw Jayapal, whatever her name is, and I don't like her, and I want to see this. So let's watch this. I'm monitoring Tommy, guys. As soon as Tommy comes out, Walter Mondale was the ambassador of Japan from 1993 to 19. I didn't know that, Nico. That's pretty cool to know. I didn't know that. I like learning stuff like that. I didn't know that. Hey, hi Kelly. What's up? I'm very proud to be an American. I'm an American veteran. I was in the United States Army and the Texas Army National Guard for 8 years of my life. I pledged my life to this country, and I swore on a Bible to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We all know what a foreign enemy is, but Joe, you are a domestic enemy. People like you are domestic enemies. When you stand there with a straight face as a grown-ass man and say, this is like Nazi Germany, Joe, I'm going to be straight with you, bro. If this was like Nazi Germany, you would already be dead. For speaking out the way you're speaking against my president and my country, you would have already been taken, Joe. All of you clowns, all these people protesting, all the Portland frogs would be a distant memory because their heads would be on a stick, Joe, because that's what a king or a dictator. You really think if Donald Trump was a king, he'd allow his kingdom to protest in the streets against him for hours upon end? Creating effigies, depicting his demise and his death. Do you think that a king would allow that, Joe? Do you really think that that would happen? No, Joe. They'd put their head on a stick like they used to do in England and put it at the end of the bridge. Are you smart enough to know that, at least that, Joe? That in England they used to put people's heads on a stick at the end of the bridge? You think a king would allow some random judge, mayor, governor, or official to block him in any sort of way? If there was a king in office right now, or if he was acting like a king, Joe, all these people speaking out against him, every single one of them would no longer exist, and he would be doing every crazy thing that he would want to do without anyone blocking him or stopping him from doing anything. If you don't believe me, go tell Kim Jong-un not to do something. He's going to shoot a missile at your face, Joe. He will. That's what they do in North Korea when you get out of line. They shoot you in the face with an anti-tank shell. That's not my opinion.
Democrat Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal recently claimed that immigrants from Somalia built this country, the United States of America.
Immigrants have built this country from all over the world, Somalia, India, wherever they're from.
It's a strange claim.
It's a strange claim because, Joe, I'm going to teach you one more thing, you fucking clown. This, Joe, please pay attention because I know for a fact that what I'm about to say, you don't agree with. Oh, anti-aircraft, anti-tank, whatever, same round. Oh, see, say I pick out one little tiny little thing that I got wrong and get your facts straight. Look, get your facts straight, Joe. I bet you think, Joe. And see, this is why I like the trolls, guys, because they give me a chance to do what I'm about to do and what I've been doing for the last 10 minutes. I'm a content creator. I'm not a restreamer. I can sit here and talk for an hour about this and spit out what I believe to be facts. I might be wrong on some things, Joe, and I may not know the color of the guy's jacket, but I know what the fucking guy said, and that's good enough for me. Joe, I bet you think that this country was founded by immigrants, don't you? And guess what, Joe? If you think that, you would be wrong. This country was not founded by immigrants. It was founded by settlers. Oh, what's the difference, you might ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked, Joe. The difference between a settler and an immigrant is very, very easy, Joe. A settler comes to a new land and creates a society, whereas an immigrant joins an already existing society and becomes a part of it. These people are not becoming a part of our collective, Joe. Joe, you watch Star Trek? You watch the Borg? You know what that is? These people are not becoming a part of the American collective. They're trying to bring their third world nonsense to our country. If you ask the people from Colombia, Rwanda, Pakistan, the people who are here for ill intentions, who don't love this country, the people who still practice their crazy religion in a way that they should be in Pakistan and Afghanistan, those people, they're not for this country. In the 80s and 90s, people used to come here all the time, Joe, and they used to come here to become Americans. They could not fucking wait to put on a United States of America flag on their shirt with a Yankee hat and go to a Yankee game. They could not wait. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thanks for keeping up with your membership. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. So it's a failure to assimilate, like the beautiful Rebbe just said. See, I catch everything. I do. I really do. So the thing is this, that now what they do, Joe, is they come here with their whole community. They all come here. They use our social systems. You know, in other countries, you get prison, you get flogged, you get caned if you go there illegally. In the United States, you get health care, you get housing, you get money, you get groceries, you get EBT, you get all this crap, man. Why wouldn't they come? I would go too. Why wouldn't you go? The incentives are too great. In other countries, you get flogged. In this country, you get a piece of bread and some toast and some cheese and stuff. You get a meal, is what I'm trying to say. You get a place to lay down at night. Maybe even the ghetto, the shittiest parts of America, I'd kick the shit out of the shitty parts of like the Philippines or Rwanda. Would you rather live in the Rwanda ghetto or the Dallas, Texas ghetto? That's not the same fucking ghetto. Let me tell you, that's not the same. So if you ask these people, let's say the people are from, let's just say Colombia. Okay. And you go, if tomorrow, you sit them down, you go, tomorrow. If tomorrow the United States went to war with Colombia, who you with? If they don't say the United States, they have to leave immediately. If you say, oh, you're from Pakistan or you're from Afghanistan, if the United States went to war again with Afghanistan or went to war with Pakistan tomorrow, who are you with? Oh, I'm with Pakistan. Well, you have to go back to Pakistan right fucking now. Would you let somebody in your house who also wanted to kick your ass? Would you have that person over for dinner? Polly, would you have somebody over for dinner who also wanted to slit your throat? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I like Michael Knowles. He's a badass guy. I really like him. I'd like to meet him and have a conversation with him. He's truly a great guy.
Since the Americas were discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492, settled by the Virginia Company at Jamestown in 1607, then settled in New England by the Pilgrims on the Mayflower in 1620, founded as a cohesive nation through the Revolutionary War between 1775 and 1783, and governed by the Constitution, which was ratified in 1788, all of which occurred between 132 and 428 years before the first documented Somali arrived in the 1920s. When Somalis did finally make it over here in the 20s, it was not by the millions, or by the thousands, or even by the hundreds. It was by the dozens. Handfuls of sailors, so minuscule that they barely even appear in the historical record. In the 1950s, as Somali territories moved toward independence...
Hey, thanks for the sergeant. Just another day. Welcome. What's up? If you're not a part of the Discord, get with someone. Go to the community page. You can get a link to the Discord. If it's expired, anybody let me know and I'll redo the link. But anybody with a blue or a green name can get you a link. It's members only.
After decades of colonial...
Well, members and friends only. That keeps out the riffraff.
Some Somali students attended American universities. Again...
Because I'd hate to get in a situation, guys. The reason I have it gated behind a membership, and that's just to really keep out the Antifa and the riffraff and things like that. I'm sure at some point we'll get a couple of trolls in there, but I'd hate to get in a situation where I had to, I don't know, delete my entire Discord and all the information and wipe it clean for some reason.
We're talking about a vanishingly small number of Somalis visiting and studying in the United States. Even after the Hart-Celler Act of 1965 radically transformed America's immigration system, inaugurating the policy of mass migration that persists to this day, Somalis still barely came to the United States.
Psyops, what's up, bro?
In 1969, the Somali Republic collapsed after only 9 years of existence, giving way to the Marxist-Leninist Somali Democratic Republic. Even then, only a minuscule number of Somalis made it to America. By 1990, 1 year before the collapse of the Somali Democratic Republic, fewer than 2,100 Somali natives lived in the United States. That all changed in 1991, when civil war and state failure sent hundreds of thousands of Somalis fleeing. The U.S. had adopted a new policy, welcoming political refugees in 1980, over 2 centuries after the founding of the American nation and 360 years after the landing of the Mayflower in Plymouth Harbor, for those who are keeping count. So, by 2011, nearly 100,000 Somalis had been welcomed into the United States as refugees. What exactly did they build in America? They didn't sign the Declaration of Independence, they didn't build our military, or found any universities, or make any of the discoveries or invent any of the inventions that made America a global superpower and gave us the American century. They weren't even here when all that stuff happened. But that doesn't mean they haven't built anything. When Somalis began arriving in the 1990s and 2000s, they built mosques and Islamic centers and Quranic schools. They opened halal shops and grocery stores that sent remittances.
Let me be very clear. When your religion tells you to lie, invade, and convert or kill, you're not allowed. It's not freedom of religion. It's freedom of religion, but you must respect other people's religion. It was just Christmas. It was just Christmas and I'm Jewish. You know how many people try to convert me to Christianity this week? Anybody guess? Take a wild guess how many people try to convert me to Christianity this week? It's Christmas. I'm open about being Jewish. That's right. Hell bent for leather got it. 0. No, 0. The answer is 0. Not one damn person. You know why? Because I live in America. Because at the current moment, we still have freedom of religion. Because people are respectful. Because people know me. The people who are my friends who knew me back in the wrestling stuff. I mean, I did a religious gimmick in wrestling. David Starr, the Star of David, you know. So, honestly, Christians are wonderful people. I know the most of the people I know in my life. Pretty much every woman I've ever dated has been a Christian of some sort. And they've asked me if I wanted to go to church. I either said no or I went. One time I was dating someone and she was fucking Pentecostal. And I went to church with her. Oh my God. It scared me back to the synagogue. It was crazy. But I didn't talk shit. I told her I had a lovely time. I thanked her parents for bringing me along. It was a hell of an experience that I'll never forget. Words can't describe how incredible it was. You know, that's not a lie. That's not a lie. So I don't mind jingle bells and Santa and all that stuff. Hey, I got a tree. I got a Christmas tree in the other room. Yes, it's white. It's a white tree with blue, ornaments and things like that, and the bell balls and stuff. Blue balls. I got blue balls all over my transmit. But it's for my daughter and things like that. So I'm fine with all that. It doesn't bother me. But these people are taught, and I mean this. These people are taught to lie to us and to convert us or kill us. And that is not, those three things are not okay. Because I'm not going to go pray 5 times a day on some bath towel. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not going to wear some long ass dress with sandals everywhere. Hey, look, who's in here? Who do I see? Let me see here. 10 man. So all the guys in here, I actually look guys, look. Nico, Barry. Okay, 10 man, right? You guys are cool. I like you. You know, Prank is my real life friend. And in no way do I want to walk down the street holding pinkies with any of you. You're going to have to kill me. I ain't doing that shit. Go to a club and there's no big booty Latinas? What? Make all the redheads cover up all their freckles? Are you stupid? So I don't get to see shoulder freckles ever again? Well, you show your ankle, we get to beat your ass? That means Polly, that, you know what that means? That means you better shut the fuck up. You better shut the fuck up. Man, woman, shut up. See how that works? See how mad? You know I'm joking. You see how mad you are, though? What the fuck? We supposed to act like this? I have a daughter. What? She's 11, so she's marriage material in the world of Islam. She's 11. Should I go get my 11-year-old a husband that's older than me? The fuck? But we're on the wrong side. Okay. Uh-huh. What the fuck?
Is back to Somalia. Beyond these legal, or at least semi-legal businesses, a major source of remittances to Somalia has been the American taxpayer. Because the most impressive institution that Somalis have built in the United States is the kind of community group that perpetrated one of the most expansive cases of welfare fraud in American history. Thanks to reporting by Ryan Thorpe and Christopher Rufo at City Journal, we now know that Somali criminals stole billions of dollars in taxpayer dollars during just a single gubernatorial administration in Minnesota alone. Much of that money went straight back to Somalia, with at least some of it ending up in the hands of the Islamic terrorist group Al-Shabaab. According to a 2024 report,
you and Prank don't kiss each other on the cheek. Ginger Shepherd, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever shook his hand. I don't think my skin has ever come into contact with his skin. Ugh. I'm just. This is. I don't see how they live like that. I understand now. There is a fine line between making y'all cover up with a wee little window, okay, and you not having half your bra hanging out, and having booty shorts where I can see your religion. You know what I mean? It's like a fine line. You don't. We're not trying to cover you up like a wee little window, and we realize that we're an American. We're Americans, and our women wear bikinis. I get that. I get that. But If you just at the grocery store or if you're at the mall or if you would, there's no reason to be like bang, boom, pow all the time, because you got to leave a little bit to the mystery of it. And especially if you have a man, if you're still dressing all sexy and you have a man, see, this is where I believe in a tiny bit of the modesty thing, a tiny bit, because you really do put your dude's life in danger. If you have, now hear me out, ladies, just hear me out. If you have a marriage or you're married or you live with the guy or you've been dating for a very long time and you're an actual real couple, not just some dude you went on 3 good dates with. I'm talking about somebody who's really, really a part of your life. He knows your mom and your sister and he's been to Thanksgiving 3 times. Somebody like that. And that's your man, right? And you go out and you dress provocatively, right? Your titties all hanging out and you bang, boom, pow and all that stuff. You have all that. And you want to look good for your man. And I understand that. But you need to understand that men don't give a fuck about your relationship. They, in fact, some guys and ladies, I know you ladies think because maybe you live with a man, you've been married for a while, maybe you've had multiple relationships over your course of your life, that you think you know how bad and how vulgar and how sexualized men are, and you ain't got a damn clue. You really don't know what it's like when you're not around. I know you think, oh, well, I have a couple guys and I'm part of the group and they treat me like one of the guys. No, they don't. They don't. If they did, you wouldn't be friends with them ever, ever, ever again. They don't treat you. You wrong. That's so much worse. You seriously, it is so much worse than you could ever imagine with men. It really, really is. You really have no idea. It really is. It's because it's all trippy and colored, Polly. That's why he said that. But like, so here's the scenario, right? Let's say Polly, I'm going to use you as an example. Is that okay? Good. I'm glad you said yes. You didn't say yes, but I'm just going to pretend you said yes. Let's say me and Polly are like a couple, right? We've been together for like years. Let's just say. And we go out somewhere and she's bang, boom, pow. She got her freckles all out and them titties. Just, how you doing? She looking good. Like Bernie Mac used to say, like a bacon and egg sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like looking really good. Like, sop you up with a biscuit good, you know? And so at some point in that evening, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. I'm going to have to go pee. I'm going to have to go to the bar and get you another drink. Or, hey, could you go get this? Sure. Hey, look, I'm going to go wash my hands, right? That's respectable. I'm going to go wash my hands. Whatever. I'll get the bill, we got dinner. It's great. And I walk away and then some dude walks in and sees you sitting by yourself at the table looking all bang, boom, pow. And he walk over to you and he's talking to you. And he don't know who I am because I'm in the bathroom. I've only been gone 30 seconds. And that's enough time, ladies. That is. And then I come back over to the table. And this guy's like, who the fuck are you? I'm talking to the lady right here. You can get the fuck on. And you're like, this is like my wife, my girlfriend. They're like, well, where were you? You weren't here. So I eased up. So now I'm in a confrontation from this dude. And maybe he has a gun. I don't know. Maybe he shoots me and kills me. All because you had to be all bang, boom, pow. With your titties hanging out, your ass hanging out. So I'm not saying wee little window. No. I'm not saying that. However, you have to dress for your occasion and your role in life. If you're a mom of 2, dress like a mom of 2. I'm not saying wear a house coat, but don't have like a leather mini skirt with boots up past your knees and a halter top with like, you know what I'm saying? Like 10 man, you don't want to do shrooms in Clyde's studio. Yes, you do. No, you don't, because I live in Texas and that's illegal and we don't do illegal things. Yeah, no. But otherwise, yes, you do. You do want to do that. This is the perfect place to do that. No, I'm saying, Polly, I know you have to be very careful because you can get, even if we walking down the street and we walking with each other, right? And you look all, bang, boom, pow, right? And the guys don't care. Guys look at that as a challenge. Oh, you got a boyfriend? I have a boyfriend. Oh, is he here? The guys look at that as a challenge, ladies. I'm serious. Guys will go, oh, I wasn't interested really, but now that you said you have a boyfriend, oh, now I really want to hit it. You know what I mean? That they act like that. They do. And here's a hot take, ladies. This is one of the reasons I'll be eternally single. You can't have girls' night. I'm not dating you. You gonna go to girls' night? Why? You gonna go to the club and go dress all bang boom pow and have some drinks with your friends and dance around your shoes and your purses and shit, right? Yep, it's a meat market. You're putting yourself on sale, on display for all the single guys. Because who goes to the club? Single guys. You want to have a girls' night? Go to your friend's house and y'all make margaritas at the house and y'all watch a scary movie together or some shit. Or like Real Housewives of whatever the fuck. You do that shit. If you're going to go out to a club dressing all hot and bothered, and you're going to go have drinks with your friends, you can go. But when you come back, you single. I'm not going to go to the strip club. I promise you. I am not going. I'm not going to go nowhere. I'm not going to go nowhere that's going to put our relationship in jeopardy. See, that's the problem that people do. They put themselves in a situation. See, that's why I think that women were not working at some point in history. Now, I do believe in women being able to work. And if you want to be a boss babe, hey, go on. I'm not interested in you. But go ahead. You do whatever you want to do. Free country. You want to be a boss babe. You want to have your business and make $10 million a year and do an OnlyFans, whatever. But you're a zero to me. I'm not interested. Not interested. But previously in our society and our time, we had a situation where women didn't work all that much. They were home. Even in like 1955, women were mostly homemakers. Why? Because when you go to work, your husband's not there. You're at work. If I ever had a girlfriend and I go to like her office party and she introduces me to some dude and introduces him as, oh, this is my work husband, Michael. Bitch, you can go live with Michael. But fuck Michael. You can go live with that motherfucker because we're done. We're over. Oh, work husband? The fuck away from me. The hell? May's face is a 2. Every time she eats on camera. Oh, I hate. Anybody else? I hate watching somebody eat. And they smacking their lips and you can see the food. Ugh. And so she's not even a 2 now because she was eating on camera and it was all nasty and gross and I'm ugh. Nope. Rebby, you're a Rebby. You way hotter than she is. Rebby, it's the difference between like a bicycle with the chain falling off and like a Ferrari. That's a good analogy. Yep. That's a great analogy. I like that analogy. Hey, she charges $30 to DM her, but she sure as fuck shared my picture for free. Dumb bitch.
Remittances from abroad, and especially from the United States, today account for between 30 and 50% of the Somalian economy. In other words, Somalis didn't build America. They've never really contributed anything to America. But they have managed to take, steal, and transfer enough wealth from America that, inasmuch as Somalia exists today as a nation at all, America built Somalia.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a climatic stream without visiting Teaspoon's Basement. He should have named his channel Teaspoon's Basement. That would have been good. I like that name. But if you didn't know, I'm gonna dox his location, right? If you didn't know, T-Sply in every one of his videos is in the basement. We don't have basements where I live. We have a sea level problem. We can't have basements in Houston. You would just get a pool. You could have a pool, but no basement. But Teaspoon or T-Sply, as he is called, is a friend of mine. He's given me blanket permission to use as many of his videos and his content as I want to. I don't. Why is this all messed up? Hold on. What happened here? Wait a minute. Why is this all weird like that? That's weird. Why is that? That's good enough. So we're gonna watch this. I'm still waiting for Tommy. If he doesn't come out tonight, we'll figure out something to do and we'll call it a night. It's all good. Never announces when. No. He usually texts me. I'm waiting for it now. We're gonna watch this T-Sply video. I'm gonna go check on the situation in the other room, and I'll be right back.
And because of the chaos that is being caused by these ICE agents, that somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed.
Just a few days ago, the mayor of Minneapolis made a statement that federal agents are causing chaos in the area of the Twin Cities and that someone will seriously get hurt if not killed. And this accusation put all of the blame on Homeland Security. Yet here we are just a few days later, Homeland Security is reporting they were being followed by a random man. That man decided to wave his firearm, and of course Homeland Security pulled out their firearms as well. And this is a situation that happened extremely recently during a surveillance operation.
And whether that is an ICE agent or a community member, we all know the tinderbox that could explode because of it. We all know that the federal government is looking for reasons to deploy more and more people to Minneapolis and blue cities around the country. We all know that we cannot afford to lose a single Minneapolis resident because they showed up and decided to protect their neighbors.
Now, for those of you subscribed to my channel, it looks like I keep making the same video over and over again. And trust me, I feel the same. When I see this headline, I'm like, did I already make a video about this? Because just a few days ago, I talked about a situation just like this in St. Paul, Minnesota, where ICE agents had to also pull out their firearm. So, just to clear up the confusion, this is a completely different story than the one from 4 days ago. And 4 days ago, on the same day, the St. Paul Police Department also had to draw their firearms. So again, I know there's a lot of confusion here, but this is a completely new story. Now, before we start to dig into this, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. It's a massive help, and I think people want to see what is going on again in the Twin Cities area. This time, we're talking about West St. Paul. Okay, so let's start with this. For those of you that are unaware, West St. Paul is actually south of St. Paul, to clear up any of this confusion. Because if you go west of St. Paul, you're in Minneapolis. But again, this is all the same area of operation as far as the increase of deportation operations in this area. So although I played those clips from the mayor of Minneapolis, he's really talking about this entire area of operation as far as the deportation operations, just to clear up that confusion. But again, we are in West St. Paul. Now, typically when I make these videos, I'm able to locate either a TikTok or a live stream and we can cross-reference what happened, but you'll see why we're not going to have any of that. This was a covert operation or a surveillance operation. We'll dig into it. A 63-year-old Dakota County man is facing criminal charges after he allegedly pulled a gun on United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. Charging documents state that West St. Paul police officers were called to a home on Charlton Street near Langer Circle on Monday after Homeland Security reported that a man in a blue pickup truck just pulled a gun. When West St. Paul police arrived at the scene, court documents state that they saw a man, Thomas Edwards, standing on the sidewalk in front of his driveway yelling at ICE agents. When officers told Edwards he was being arrested, he allegedly responded that he was ready to start blank fighting all of you. Charging documents say Edwards added that the ICE agents pulled a gun on him, so he took his gun out and later said he would have shot an ICE agent because he was pointing a gun at me. 2 ICE agents told police they were parking in a Home Depot parking lot.
Sorry, Teaspoon, but we have a Tommy situation, and I said I would. I promised I would go right to it. Let's make sure he's out there. Is he out there? Oh, he is. Well, we gotta put this on right now. Okay, all right. So here's what's gonna happen, guys. We're going to Rumble right now. We're going to Rumble. We're gonna put this on so you see it's the frogs. The frogs are in the house. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So we're doing this right
That's
here.
a very positive note, right?
I can't. That was close. That was close, guys. We're going to get rid of this. Hold on. Okay. Scorpion, what was that? Polly, what was that? View deleted message. What are you talking about pointing a gun? What are you talking about pointing a gun to your head? What, was I pointing a gun to my head? Oh, he was just spamming the same thing. Oh, no. Did you ban him? Totally, right, Polly? You banned him? I want him banned. Now, here's the thing, guys. We are going to go live on Rumble. We actually are live on Rumble right now, but we're going to go there. We're going to shut down the YouTube stream. Let me get the link for you directly to the Rumble. Here is the link to the Rumble. I'm going to pin it. Okay. Guys, we're going to Rumble. We have 81 people on Rumble. We have 185 on YouTube. Let's add 185 people to the Rumble. I'm going to put the sound on uninterrupted. The frogs are there. We got to go now. Thank you so much for joining me on YouTube. I love you. Check out all my YouTube videos. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Share it. And all those things. YouTube is easy. Rumble is easy, guys. If you don't know how, ask somebody. They'll help you. Everybody go to the Rumble. Rumble. Its link is pinned on Rumble. It's not Climatics TV. It's just Climatics. Rumble. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night, YouTube.